MP expulsion is fundamentally on the concept of cash for query. So what is this query? Query is nothing but it's a question. So where are you asking these questions? In the parliament. So what is the issue? So MP1, MP2, businessman. Businessman gives gifts and luxury items and cash so that this MP will ask questions in the parliament. What kind of questions? The questions which tarnishes the image of PM and another businessman. So because the tarnishing of image is taking place, this MP filed a complaint on this MP. So when they have filed a complaint, what happens is the Lok Sabha has two kinds of committees on the issues of code of conduct, how a particular MP or a member of the parliament should conduct himself or herself with respect to the rules and regulations of the parliament. There are two major committees. One is called ethics committee and the other is privileges committee. So fundamentally this is the older one, and this committee actually recommended for formation of this committee. This is the new one. So this privileges committee was there before. This privileges committee in 2005, after the sting, there was a sting operation in 2005 where the result was 11 MPs were expelled and one Rajya Sabha member also was expelled. 11 from Lok Sabha and 1 from Rajya Sabha was expelled. So this privileges committee is the base, has recommended for the formation of ethics committee, which actually looks over the conduct of how the members of the parliament function within the parliament. That's the whole point. So this case is cash for query case, where this businessman will tell this MP, you please ask these questions in the parliament, so that the image of a particular person or another member of the parliament or the prime minister or the speaker, it may be any person who is against them will be questions and their image will be tarnished. So that is the issue. So this is not something very new also. It was there before 2005, a huge thing. 11 Lok Sabha members were removed, expelled, and 1 Rajya Sabha member was expelled. So it's not something new. But the issue is who should decide what can be done with them is these two committees. One is ethics committee and privileges committee. Now the issue is whether these committees will just recommend or do they have some powers or not. So let's discuss about those things. So the MP expulsion fundamentally is to talk about the cash for query issue and what can these committees do. So the whole broader perspective is this. So let's look at that. So news, cash for query against Moitra. Nishikant Dubey is the complainant, asking questions in parliament for exchange for bribes from a businessman against Modi as well as Adani. So the parliamentary ethics committee has started hearing the case, and this is news, therefore it is very important. So this is the major crux of it. Moving on. So what happened is, how did this happen? An allegation of corruption against MP can be sent either to an ethics committee or to the privileges committee, but more serious situations will be taken to the privileges committee. If the seriousness is more, privileges committee will take care. The ethics committee can take up only cases of misconduct that involves MPs, while privileges committee includes both MPs as well as non-MPs. So this is the difference between ethics committee and this one. So ethics committee will deal only with MPs, while privileges committee will deal with both MPs as well as non-MPs. Now please remember 2005 case, 11 Lok Sabha MPs were expelled and 1 MP from Rajya Sabha was expelled, as I told you. And please, this case is very important, Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker. In this case, the essence of that case is, please remember, Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker. This case is important because the issue was, do these committees have the right or do they have the power to expel members of parliament based on misconduct? Yes, this case has finally proved that these privileged committees as well as ethics committee, they have the right, they have the power to expel the MPs based on misconduct behavior. The misconduct may be any form. It may be taking bribes, or it may be unnecessarily defaming a person. So any of these formats can be taken into consideration. So this case is very important, might come for prelims. So and this difference also is very important. Ethics committee only MPs, while privileges committee both MPs and non-MPs. This is what is important for UPSC. Next, please remember this. This is the most highlight point. How did this start? This VORA committee, what they have done is, they have found out that there is a huge nexus between bureaucrats, police officers, businessmen, and there's a lot of settlements which are going on within this group. Therefore, this committee, VORA committee report is very, very important. That is what you have to remember. So between gangs, police and bureaucracy. And then the committee of privileges recommended the formation of ethics committee. I told you, this is the older committee and this is a new committee. What is the aim of this? Moral as well as ethical conduct of the members and examine the cases of misconduct referred to it. That is the aim of this ethics committee. The rules applicable to the committee of privileges also apply to the ethics panel. This is a very important point, can come for prelims as a logical question. So will the rules applicable for committee of privileges be applied for the ethics panel also? Yes. So this is an important point for prelims. Please don't forget this. The rules for privileges committee is also applicable for ethics panel. That is very important point. Next, moving on. So what is the procedure for how do you have to complain? Now complaint, any person can complain against a member through another Lok Sabha MP. Any person through Lok Sabha MP can, if there is evidence of alleged misconduct. So who can refer? The speaker can refer. The speaker can refer to the committee any complaint against an MP. So here the highlight point is this. So complaint, so the complaint can go through an MP. From an MP it will go through speaker, and the speaker will recommend which committee, and the committee will finally give a report. This is the order. First, complainant through a member of Lok Sabha. From the member of Lok Sabha it goes to the speaker. The speaker will decide which committee it has to go, whether to the ethics committee or the privileges committee, and based on that the committees will start creating reports. Based on the report, whatever action has to be taken, they will take. That is the whole essence. Now, privileges committee. Privileges are enjoyed by individual members as well as House as the whole. So, member of parliament, he or she can be examined for breach of privilege, and if it is a non-MP, then they can be accused of breach of privilege for actions that attack the authority and dignity of the House. So, if a non-MP is attacking the authority or the dignity of the House, then action can be taken on non-MPs. But for MPs, only if breach of privilege is being done. To safeguard, what is the final essence of it? To safeguard the freedom, authority and dignity of the parliament. That is the essence of it. So, fundamentally this is about privileges committee. So, I hope all of you have understood this. So, this VORA committee is very important. Privileges committee, ethics committee is very important. And then this case is very important, Raja Rampal versus Honorable Speaker. And if you want to just give an example, you can give an example of 2005 case. I think that should be more than sufficient for this topic.